With that win in Alaska, the Democrats moved a few inches closer to that magical 60-seat majority in the U.S. Senate. If they somehow manage to win both the runoff election in Georgia and the hand recount in Minnesota, presto changeo, you have yourself a 60-seat filibuster-proof majority. But would it really be just cause for the Democrats to break out the champagne? Joining us now is MSNBC political analyst Lawrence O'Donnell. Lawrence, thanks for being with us.
80 degrees and sunny in Burbank today, as usual.
Oh, he's rubbing it in. So 60, 60, 60. I think I've myself said the number 60 about 60 times tonight. Is it that important? Is it a symbolic number, or is it? Give us a reality check on what that means.
It's not as important as people think. They're awfully close now with 58. And if they were to get to 60 with Al Franken's seat and then the seat in Georgia, they might actually be able to put together some 60-vote filibuster breakers, not necessarily using all Democratic votes. For example, it may be easier to get Susan Collins or Olympia Snowe, Republican senators from Maine, to vote with the Democrats on certain items than it would be the new Democrat from Georgia. When I was working in the Senate, we had Sam Nunn from Georgia, and it was always difficult to get him on Democratic votes when in the crunch. And frequently we would pick up, say, John Chafee, Republican from Rhode Island, instead. And so I would expect to see those kinds of things happen. And there's a bunch of Republicans who can be picked off to get to 60 votes in the Senate now. I would start with the two senators from Maine, and then also Arlen Specter from Pennsylvania, who's always leaned toward the left side of the Republican Party. There are some Republicans who are up for re-election whose states went to Obama this time, who have to be a little nervous. Judd Gregg in New Hampshire, who saw a Republican lose re-election to the Senate in New Hampshire this time. George Voinovich in Ohio, he's had an independent streak here and there. Mel Martinez in Florida. And then there's wild cards like John McCain and Lindsey Graham. There's 8 Republicans right there who you might be able to pull into a governing majority for Democrats when they don't have all of their Democrats lined up.
And then you have the fella named Joe Lieberman, and you know how the Senate works. Does Joe Lieberman owe Barack Obama, the Democrats, if there's a close vote, the Democrats, they need him on, even if he wouldn't ordinarily have voted with them? Will they call in that favor?
Well, the lost truth about Lieberman is that he voted mostly with the Democrats, even when he was in this renegade position on the McCain campaign. Yes, he does owe Barack Obama. He basically said that explicitly yesterday. But the disciplining of Joe Lieberman in terms of the Democratic Party is going to come from Connecticut. The voters of Connecticut, according to recent polls, are extremely dissatisfied with his performance in the last year. He can't get reelected there right now based on his numbers in Connecticut right now. He can correct that by getting in line with the Democrats, and he knows it. So Lieberman needed to stay in the Democratic Party. The Democrats needed him to stay in the Democratic Party, and I think it worked out the way both sides needed it to work out.
Let's head south for one more quick question. The Georgia Senate race, Bill Clinton was there campaigning for the Democrat Jim Martin today. John McCain campaigned there for Saxby Chambliss last week. Why hasn't Barack Obama, we all know he's busy, obviously, but why isn't he traveling down there to help this Democrat win?
Well, I think the calculation so far is he can't help. He did not win the state of Georgia. It's very unlikely that Obama could get as big a turnout for Martin in this runoff as they got last time around. And so what Obama doesn't want to do and what his people don't want him to do is to go down to Georgia after this big presidential win, go down to Georgia, test his political capital in Georgia, and lose. That would kill the momentum he has right now. Not kill it, but it would hurt the momentum he has going into his inauguration. So they don't want to see that happen.
No political buzzkill there, I guess. MSNBC political analyst Lawrence O'Donnell, thanks for your time. And you try to keep warm there in Burbank.
It's not a problem here, not a problem.